Well, it's a lot of different show tonight, Will.
I wasn't ready. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're
I
fine.
only had 30 seconds
No,
to
yeah,
prepare.
usually it's 45. Yes. Well, tonight, you have Will and I. We do have Bryce. Bryce will be here just only in this view, only tonight.
In memoriam.
In memoriam, just like Eloy Jimenez. So just for tonight, it'll be Will and I. We'll do a normal college show for week 0 preview. So don't leave because Bryce is not here. Just please push through our stupidity in some point. So tonight at the Crowded Booth, we'll talk about week 0 and everything going on in the SEC right now.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on. The Crowded Booth with Bryce Coon.
It is actually, in fact, the Crowded Booth without Bryce Coon tonight.
Yeah.
Bryce is on, what should we call it? Secret assignment?
Sabbatical.
He's on, we'll call it secret assignment. He's on secret assignment, doing his own thing down in Red Stick, in Baton Rouge. So you got us. This should be fun. Should be interesting.
Yeah, it really will be. Dr. Bob, I see you said you just shared the best bets. If you share it with Bryce, we're not gonna be able to pull it up tonight. That'll be probably next Monday if we get to all that. We will have best bets tonight. We do have me, Will, and Bryce's best bets. So be prepared if you are ready to just watch pure chaos this year. Stay tuned to those in the show. But Will,
what was my final record, Dr. Bob? You may have to put it in the comments for us.
You share with Bryce, okay?
You share with Bryce.
Wasn't
it like I started 0-6? I think
it was over 0-6, something like that.
And or 0-7.
Did you go on a streak at the end? Or was that the first year you going on like a streak at the end?
The first year I went on a big streak, but I think I ended up with did what? I think it was like 2-10 or 2-11. I only won 2 weeks. 2 best bets last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I talked about your
0-5. Dr. Bob says 0-5.
We can talk about the worst one though. The one I watched with you was the Auburn minus 13.5 versus Cal.
I mean, I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was all in and just could not have been more wrong. 1-7. So we only did 8 weeks.
Did we really?
Yikes.
Oh gosh!
Why would we have only done 8 weeks? I don't remember.
I don't either.
But anyway, it was abysmal. I was in last place.
Yeah.
Punishments coming this year. We there's been a lot of resistance.
You started 1-7. You started 1-7.
Oh, started 1-7. Okay.
Yeah, the punishments. Since Bryce is not here, we get a quick little talk about it. We will do punishments at the end of the year for who has the worst record. It will not involve any body changes at all. So no haircuts, no shaving, none of that. No tattoo, none of that stuff. Unless Will wants to get an Auburn tattoo, but we can definitely use that.
I think it's best if we don't get into that.
Yeah, I know.
Although, could you imagine Sailor Albie
just tatted on your back?
Across the chest.
Like a AJ McCarron tattoo he had. The big
that I would, my wife would divorce me for sure.
Oh yeah,
no doubt.
I mean, I would probably agree with her in that statement. Let's go, but talk about Auburn here. Let's get into the SEC and what's going on right now. The SEC announces a 9-game conference schedule for 2026 and going forward.
My first thought of this when this came out was absolutely not. I hate it. But I am the resident old man. Get off my lawn. Give me my college football back. So should come as no surprise that was my first reaction. But seeing that they're going to stick to three, what do they call them? Primary rivals or 3 yearly annual rivals, I think was the terminology they used. 3 annual rivals. Very good thing. Because a lot of the talk of this, at least, as an Auburn fan, my biggest concern and a lot of the talk was you would lose the Auburn-Georgia game, which I think, frankly, is ridiculous. Auburn and Georgia should play every year. I think Auburn and Tennessee, Auburn and Florida, Auburn and LSU should play a whole lot more often than they do. Based on what the SEC announced, this should happen. Now, obviously, they have not announced who everybody's annual rivals will be. So, still kind of up in the air. A lot of speculation there.
But you can guess some of the teams that are going to keep their certain games. You're not losing Auburn, Alabama. You're not going to lose Georgia, Florida.
I think Dr. Bob nails Alabama right here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough slate. I mean, and honestly, think about it. Everyone's getting a tough slate.
Yeah.
You're not. I mean, even if you keep those 3, you still got to play 6 more in the SEC.
Yeah.
So you may not play the same 3 or same 9 every year, but you're playing the same 3 added on with 6 more. So, let's say Alabama pulls Alabama, Auburn, or Alabama pulls Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU. Then they get thrown in there as Texas and Georgia somehow randomly one year.
Yeah.
Anything can happen with this scheduling, and it's just going to be a lot different. You will see more matchups we've been wanting to see, though. I mean, I'd love to see Auburn, South Carolina more often.
That has been one of the most underrated matchups. Auburn, been a lot of good games. A lot of Auburn wins, so of course I like it. But
yeah,
a lot of interesting games. A memory that will probably stick with me forever is an Auburn, South Carolina memory. I don't remember the year. Was it 2007? I want to say. When Auburn kept the ball the entire third quarter from South Carolina. Just that fact, that stat has always stuck with me. I think it was 2007.
Yeah. But, I feel like, you talk about losing the Auburn-Georgia game. I think that's a big enough rival for Auburn that they'd keep that one. Now, Auburn gets kind of killed in the slate if they had to have Alabama and Georgia year in, year out every year. No one really talks about that enough. Auburn gets killed every year because they play Alabama, Georgia year in, year out, and then they play A&M, and then they used to play A&M, LSU, and then they travel to go play maybe a Florida one year. It's just a lot going on for that team. So the scheduling will be a lot different. So there's no more the 3 cupcake game everyone's been talking about for years. They'll probably play 2 cupcake games and 1 regular season game against some normal FBS opponent, but
that would be the hope, right? But with the SEC and the Big Ten both playing 9 conference games, it's going to be really, really difficult to convince teams to schedule each other, I think. Because it's not going to matter. I mean, there's now the SEC going to 9 games. There's basically no argument now from the Big Ten of there never was one anyway, but now they really don't have a leg to stand on because the SEC is doing the same thing. So
it makes everyone happy, honestly, because everyone's been complaining for years that the SEC plays 8 games, in conference, and now they're playing 9, and everyone can just be quiet about it because now it's even.
Yep.
But I don't know. I don't see I mean, for one, the SEC has been the most dominant conference year in, year out, and them playing 8 games didn't sit wrong with me at first because it weren't like they're playing 8 easy games. I mean, you had to travel in the SEC. It's never easy. And you go 8-4 in the SEC. That's a solid schedule. It's solid,
It really is. I mean, we talk about 8-4 teams being mediocre and, in the
people who would love to be 8-4 in the SEC.
The grand scheme of it is pretty mediocre, but it's interesting you said that because a text was sent out today in our group, in our text chain. We'll let the viewers guess who said it, but somebody said I would kill for an 8-4 season.
Yeah.
we'll let you guess who that was.
No, it's not the one someone just put up there. It's not Bryce.
Not Bryce. Any other thoughts?
No, I don't. Like I said, it really doesn't change a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the keeping the 3 annual is what you're right, by the way, is annual opponents.
Okay.
I like that, and the 6 rotating I think it's gonna be fun. There's just the matchups you're not used to seeing. Like I said, I think Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina would be more fun to watch. Year in, year out, not year in, year out, but more often than we've been seeing in the past. I think the last they played was 2019. I think Auburn, Florida,
South Carolina, yes, was 2019.
Florida 19 also. Because that
Florida, yes, it was.
That was a good game that year. That was a really good game, I think.
It was.
Auburn lost that game, but like that was a Derek Brown like fumble recovery for like 80 yards.
Yep.
Oh, hello, Pete. But look, as much as we love talking about the SEC, there is no SEC games this weekend for week 0.
Nope. This was a classic news dump by the SEC to get people talking about the SEC. Week 0, no SEC action. Let's get in there and make it about us. That's what the SEC does.
Absolutely. But to start off week 0, we go back to last year, Will. Georgia Tech, Florida State in Ireland. We don't get another ACC rematch. We get something better. We get Farmageddon. And I'm not going to try to pronounce it the way I wanted to say it because I know I butcher it.
Yeah, let's not do that. Farmageddon. Iowa State, Kansas State, Big 12, huge Big 12 implications in week 0. We've talked about it all summer long, how the Big 12 is probably going to eat itself alive, and we get to see it right away in week 0. And it's a really good matchup. I mean, this is the best game of week 0. Kind of hate that it's the first game of week 0, but we get what we get. Kansas State 3.5 point favorite, over under 50.5. Ralph, what are you thinking here?
Well, I watched this game last year. It was a very fun matchup. It was a 29-21 final. Iowa State won at home. I think that game caused Kansas State not to make the Big 12 championship game, I believe.
I think it did.
And
you're right.
It was a heartbreaker for Kansas State at the end of the season. But I think Kansas State, they really didn't lose a lot in the portal. They got better, in my opinion. I think they're they got Quay Moss, transferred from West Georgia, former Troop County Tiger. He is playing safety for them tomorrow night or Saturday. Sorry, I was talking about Troop County. I'm going to that game tomorrow. But they keep Avery Johnson, quarterback last year, been kind of the future for them for the last 2 years. Dylan Edwards will finally step into his starting role at running back. The former Colorado transfer who broke a lot of people's hearts at Colorado when he left. Caused some disruption there. If people remember when he left, there were some things said at practices after that. But look, I'm a fan of Kansas State. I think they're a good team this year. They're one of the favorites to win the conference, as of like every other, conference team in the Big 12 this year is a favorite to win the conference, because this is, like I said, it's going to eat each other alive.
Yeah. In our Big 12 predictions, I picked Iowa State to win the Big 12. And then earlier this week, I saw another group give their Big 12 rankings. I think they had Iowa State 10th in the Big 12. Iowa State lost a ton. They lost their top 2 receivers to the NFL. So the receiving core is nowhere near where it was last year. Rocco Becht is back at quarterback. He's a really good quarterback, really capable quarterback. I really like him. Had a big year last year. But you think about last year, Matt Campbell really kind of evolved his offense around those 2 playmakers on the outside. So he threw the ball a ton. I think they're going to get back to running the ball, which is what Matt he did at Toledo. He's done it the whole time he's been at Iowa State. They're going to be a run-first team. They've got 2 really good running backs. I'm trying to find their names. Carson Hansen and Abu Sama. Really good 1-2 punch. I think they're going to run the ball. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. Hint, hint, wink, wink. A little bit later. But I don't know. And the secondary will be good again for Iowa State. I mean, they played really well last year. They held Avery Johnson to just 43% passing. One of his worst games of the season last year. So, but it's a new year. It's a new year. I think I'm not going to pick a side in this one, but if I had to lean one way, I think it'd be Kansas State. I think Kansas State more explosive on offense. But this can be a tight game. I mean, I think we're going to get a good one. A good back and forth, hopefully low scoring game. for me in week 0. Kind of not what we got in Dublin last year.
Yeah, you talk about that defense last year. I would say it was a really good defense really last year. Toward the end of the season, they kind of stepped it up, and that's what you kind of think about what Matt Campbell's done there. You know, a guy who's been thrown out there for multiple head coaching jobs at other schools. I can think of one that's not far from here. His name was thrown into the list for a while.
A couple times.
Yeah, it's been 3 times, I think, if I can remember correctly. That's not good to say. Golly. But I do like this Iowa State team because every year you think about Iowa State, they're just kind of a gritty team. You know, they're not special. You think about go back to the past when they had Brock Purdy at quarterback. Like they weren't great, but they were good enough to go out there. You can't sleep on this team because I remember one year I was really good one year, and Iowa State walked in there and beat them like 11-10. Just a grueling Will Manus matchup. Loving that, you know. But it's just one of like I said, they lost their best receiver last year. He goes to the NFL. Obviously, had a terrific season. Didn't get to play. I don't think he played in the Big 12 championship game, if I'm mistaken.
You are the Big 12 expert here, not me.
Oh, I'm far from that. Trust me. But I just remember Arizona State was playing that game, and Iowa State was without their best receiver, if I remember correctly. But I'm going to go ahead and give my pick. I'm going to go Kansas State. Both teams were returning quarterbacks. Both teams with some pretty good returning running backs. I just think that a neutral site game, it's a little different element. I'm just going to give Kansas State because I think there's a better team on paper right now. But like you said, we've talked about football. Will we finally get some football on the grass? You know, hands in the dirt, foot in the dirt. Finally get to see some balls. You know, flying through the air. Someone just hits somebody. I'm ready for it. I'm tired of talking about it.
Before we forget, let's quit talking about all this talking BS. Talk about some all natural BS. Bug spray that really works. It really works. No harmful chemicals. So your family, your pets, all be protected. It really works. Bryce did not leave us a script, but all natural BS bug spray that really works. What am I doing? This is why they don't put me in control. Here we go. All right, we're back. This is why I don't get the keys. Technologically illiterate right here.
No, you're fine. You did better than I would have done, honestly. Like I said, like I asked this last week, I think, when Bryce did this. We have not got to test this bug spray at all, so we have no idea what to say. Look, you gave your Kansas State pick. I gave my Kansas State pick. I think you really can't go wrong with either team in this game, but we don't know until after this week's over with. You know, and we can all talk about this game. Iowa State can go out there and beat them by 40. You know, no one knows anything. We've been talking for months about football.
Yep. I think we can hit this one pretty quickly. Idaho State at UNLV. UNLV is minus 26.5, over under 65.5.
Dan Mullen, UNLV. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, he brings in a lot of Power 4 transfers, namely at quarterback, Alex Orji, Anthony Calandria. I don't think they've named a starter. But both of those quarterbacks should be more than capable in the Mountain West, which I think looks pretty good for UNLV. I mean, if you want to throw a few dollars that way, I think they're plus 375. I think
To win the conference.
Oh,
that's a tough one with Boise State there now.
It is, but Boise State probably taking a step back. No, I'm sorry, plus 600.
I think Gavin just said they're playing both, I think. I mean, it makes sense. They
will probably play both. FanDuel, to get the most accurate price, FanDuel, where we're getting our numbers from this year.
Yes.
UNLV is plus 650 on FanDuel. Second best odds behind Boise State at minus 160. So Boise, heavy favorites. Heavy favorites. I mean, real quick. I mean, UNLV here. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
Is it even worth discussing?
No, because I couldn't tell you a single thing about Idaho State. It's not the Idaho Vandals. They don't play in the Kibbe Dome. I don't care. Look, I watched Idaho come down to Troy one year and play. I mean, that's a trek. That's a trek. So that's a world changer. You go from Idaho to play into rural Alabama. new world down there.
All right, next up, Fresno State at Kansas. Kansas minus 12.5, over under 49.5. Dr. Bob gave us a comment earlier about it. There it is. Fresno State, Kansas could be sneaky good. Kansas returns to a newly renovated David G. Booth Memorial Stadium after a year away. Not sure how much that matters going back home.
It's a nice looking stadium, though. I'll say
it does look very nice. The upgrades look really good. As far as on the field, Kansas, their offense is going to have to look a lot different. Devin Neal, no longer there. They still have Jalen Daniels, 6-year senior. But this will be the first time he's taking the field without Devin Neal at running back. So probably have to expect them to throw it more, which you probably don't want them to have to do.
No.
Jalen Daniels certainly a better runner than thrower.
He does have Emmanuel Henderson Jr., the transfer from Alabama, the former 5-star athlete out of Alabama, and never really played at Alabama. Never got a chance to play.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Fresno State. I know E.J. Warner's their starting quarterback. Son of Kurt Warner, if I'm correct about that one.
I like E.J. Warner.
He's a good player. I just don't know if he has enough weapons around him at Fresno State to help him win this game. I feel like Kansas should win this comfortably. I wouldn't take anything in this game. 12.5 is a lot of points for me. But 12.5 is covering for Fresno State's a lot for me too. I would just watch this game. I wouldn't put anything on this game.
Yeah, no. Fresno State, new head coach this year, Matt Entz, formerly of North Dakota State. I think won 2 FCS titles at North Dakota State. They're going to be physical. I mean, that's kind of North Dakota State's thing. That's going to be their identity. If you wanted to bet this, Fresno State first half. I mean, maybe they come out, hit Kansas in the mouth, and Kansas stumbles out of the gate a little bit. But yeah, this is not going to be a game I bet. But if I had to pick a side, I would pick Kansas. Because they have a coach on staff that puts them over the edge. Friend of the program, Jonathan Wallace.
Yeah, I had to make sure I got it right. He's the running backs coach at Kansas. I had to make sure I got that correct.
That's why I didn't say it, because I was thinking tight ends coach.
I know. I'm sitting here scrolling down their coaching list like, where is he? Yeah, former Central Red Devil and Auburn Tiger, Jonathan Wallace, who has taken a solid job, or done a solid job in coaching so far. Bounced around schools, and he's been at Kansas, I think, for 4 years now, if I'm not mistaken.
Been there a little while.
Yeah, he was there under was he there with Les Miles? No, he wasn't there with Les Miles.
No, I don't think he was.
Who was there before Leipold?
Les Miles.
Was it Les Miles? He was there then. He got hired under Leipold then, I believe. Then either way, John Wallace, former great quarterback, done a great job at coaching at Kansas, and I think he'll do even better in the future wherever he lands.
Great Central high school quarterback.
He was very good in high school. He really was. He was a great receiver at Auburn too when he got moved to receiver.
Yeah, he got thrown into the fire as a freshman on a 3-9 team.
Situations, man. It just doesn't work out for bad timing to go to a certain school. But Auburn. I mean, if you're an Auburn fan, you watch the kid play. He went out there and played his heart out, no matter every time he was out there. So.
He did. All right, Ralph. I know this is a game you got your eye on. Sam Houston State at Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky minus 10.5. Over under set at 61.5. I'll let you take it.
Look, I like this game because I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of West Kentucky, and just kind of every year, because every year they always have a good quarterback that kind of goes underrated. You got back to Bailey Zappi a few years ago when they were just kind of he was just throwing for 400, 500 yards a game. Got close to 6,000. He almost broke Joe Burrow's record. But I like West Kentucky because they have a receiver that I got to interview when he was in high school, was Katie Hutchinson from Harris County. He's there. He's their starting receiver now. Had a really good year last year as a sophomore. Coming as a junior this year, I really hope he has a solid season for him. Quarterback Maverick
McIver.
McIver, is that how you say it?
Maverick McIver.
What a name. What a name. All name quarterback, in my opinion, honestly. West Kentucky's always had a good, solid, program. Always offensively powerhouse. Sam Houston State kind of not really there yet. They're still kind of building this program up. They're in a good part of this. Like they're in a good conference to be in right now. Someone mentioned the other day with Sam Houston jump to another conference in a few years. I don't know why they would ever jump out of that conference because they're too small. They're not good enough to play that any other conference right now. I was just going to say West Kentucky wins this game. I think 10.5 is an easy spread for them to cover. Wink, wink, going into that like Will did earlier. 61.5. I don't know. West Kentucky's defense could have a lot of problems. I don't know if Sam Houston's taking score enough points to keep up. But it's week 0. It's gonna be a hot one in Kentucky, obviously. The score could go out. It could be over. It easily could go over 61.5. They are replacing a lot of talent though in West Kentucky's on offense and defense sides.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking the over in this game. I think there's gonna be a lot of points. I think it's 2 good enough offenses and 2 really bad defenses. Sam Houston State, they bring their quarterback back from last year, Hunter Watson. His passing numbers don't jump off the page, 62% completion, 1,800 yards, 12 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but he is very good. He's a really good runner. Over 600 yards and 9 touchdowns. Although he can't be that good. He averages less than 4 yards a carry. I think 2 experienced quarterbacks, 2 offenses that know what they're going to do. McIver, of course, he's transferring in from Abilene Christian, but, did really, really well there. He threw for, where'd it go? I had it here. This is great. We're always prepared. Where's Jonesy to talk about how unprepared I always am?
He is too busy cooking right now. He's been sending me pictures of his chicken he's been cooking all day. So, that's what he's doing right now.
Of course, I can't. Oh, there it is. He threw for over 8,000 yards and 63 touchdowns at Abilene Christian.
He only went to West Kentucky. Oh gosh, some schools missed out on this one.
Yeah. We'll have to see. So I think we're gonna have a ton of points.
Yeah, and in these games like this, week 0 games, and we go back to last year, some of the week 0 games that were played after the prime time 12 o'clock kickoff. I said prime time because in certain conferences that's prime time, which is very upsetting to me. You don't see a lot of very good defense in the week 0. A lot of teams are still learning themselves because especially with teams that have a lot of transfers or new starters, they're still kind of learning the ropes. The install's been there, the fall camp's been there, but going out there and taking, what you learn in practice with your teammates compared to what you're going to see from a guy who you've never seen before is 2 different things. And a lot can happen in these games. Quarterbacks overthrow the ball, miss blocks, all that stuff. So it's just one of those games. I feel like this would be a high scoring matchup, but like West Kentucky's going to score majority of the points, in my opinion. I would agree. I think now we talk about the primetime matchup, though, Will.
You're right. Stony Brook at San Diego State. The only thing that we have to say about this is if you are even thinking about betting on this game, first of all, I didn't even know Stony Brook had a football team. I know they got a basketball team. They got what's that?
I don't know. Where's Stony Brook even at?
I don't know. They got a good basketball program. Didn't even know they had a football team.
This Dr. Bob is going to know where Stony Brook's at. I can promise you that. I'm not even sharing the comments, but I know if he comments, he knows where Stony Brook's at.
Yeah, Dr. Bob is going to give us the rundown on Stony Brook here in a few minutes. But if you want to bet this game, just go ahead and call the number. Call the number.
Is that a private college? Probably.
I think it is.
The real matchup tonight, though, on Saturday night. Thank you.
This is going to be quite an interesting game. Stanford at Hawaii. Hawaii is a 2.5 point favorite. The over-under set at 50.5, and this line has moved a ton. So the week 0 lines, they come out way too early. I mean, they come out at the start of fall camp. I don't understand why they come out so early. But Stanford opened as a 2-point favorite at Hawaii, and it's now shifted the other way completely. We've talked on this show quite a bit about Stanford and all their changes. Andrew Luck comes in as the GM. He fires a head coach, Troy Taylor. He brings in Frank Reich as the interim head coach, which I mean, what is that going to look like? I mean, has Frank Reich ever coached in college? I've only ever known him coaching in the NFL. I think he's just going to be the year-long interim.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if he has success, I would imagine Andrew Luck's going to probably talk him into dropping that interim tag. But, I think the only confidence that I have in Stanford is from Frank Reich. He didn't have as much success in the NFL as what would have been hoped as a head coach. But obviously, he's still got to be a really great coach to be a head coach in the NFL, making the step down to Stanford. So you would gotta think at least Stanford's probably not going to beat themselves. But I mean, I could also see this going the other way and it just getting ugly, and Hawaii running away with this thing.
Yeah. You talk about Stanford and your only confidence is in Frank Reich. I agree. They also don't only replace one starter on defense, which their defense wasn't great last year in the first place. But you do got some guys who stayed, and that's going to help out a lot more than people think they would. Offensively, there's your big issue. You lose your quarterback to Auburn. You lose your number one receiver to the NFL. Lose receivers 2 and 3 also. It's not a good setup for the offense this year. Now, if you're talking about a school who has probably one of the better known offensive minds, the GM, Stanford's up there. Because you have a former NFL quarterback who was really good in his career until he just randomly retired. Andrew Luck, it's just.
I mean, he was giving the defense looks in camp.
Yeah, that's even funnier. I love it though. It reminds me when my dad went out there in when I was playing arena football at practice, and he would line up against me because we didn't have enough people to practice sometimes. So my dad would just go out there in his shirt from work and his khaki shorts and boots. So and would act like he was going to run me over, and I was 11 years old. So my only thing is, look, Stanford's got a big question mark this year, and it's just it only really goes with leadership, because they have to have some leadership in this program from top to bottom if they want to get back to what Stanford was. And it's going to take some punches this year. They're going to have to fight to get some of these games to stay in the battle. So I don't think there's a chance to go. I said at the beginning of the year, there's a chance to go 0-12. It's a solid chance to can. Yeah. I mean, I know we always do like, what's the floor and ceiling for some teams? It's like, floor is 0-12, ceiling is 12-0. It's a serious 0-12 for Stanford this year. And I hate to say that because I was a fan of the Christian McCaffrey days there. Even before that, I really was. Like, it was a fun team to watch, that ground and pound run they had, that Maryland I formation they used to run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they're going to try to get back and do more of that. I mean, they don't have a ton of talent at wide receiver, at least proven talent. The quarterback is a question mark because Ashton Daniels left and went to Auburn, and he wasn't great for Stanford last year to begin with, and I think he played every game, started every game. So if we saw how much he struggled, the guy behind him can't be any better.
Yeah, he was the leading rusher and passer last year. Yeah, I mean, that goes to show you what they lost in quarterback. Yeah. Look, that's crazy. That's my dad. That's crazy. That's crazy. I was 11 years old. Thank you. I still have a comment, and I'm bringing up. Joe says Stanford still have more talent than Hawaii. Stanford should have better coaching. Give me the trees. Joe, I don't know, man. It's just hard to say that right now. Obviously, Frank Reich's probably a better coach than Timmy Chang is, but I don't know. I can't give Stanford the upper hand and not see what they don't have.
Yeah.
They lost a ton of talent on that team.
I'm gonna lean the same direction I leaned in Farmageddon. I think Hawaii is more explosive. They're gonna air it out.
Yeah.
They're gonna just air it out. And I don't know if Stanford has the secondary to hang with Hawaii's receivers. And Stanford's going to do the opposite. They're going to ground and pound, try to control the clock. But I think Hawaii is more explosive. I'm going to take Hawaii -2.5. I like Hawaii in this game. Being at home, long travel for Stanford, weird game going to the islands. Is Stanford treating this as vacation? Is their brain on vacation because they're in Hawaii? We'll see.
I do want to say one more thing, and this is I want this to go as soft as I can sitting out there. Um, the Hawaii fires at the beginning of the year were very hard on the people there, and you go back to when Hawaii had some of their best years, when they went to the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. That stadium was rocking when they played those games. I feel like this is the year that Hawaii can kind of bring these people together. And I'm not saying they're going to go for another Sugar Bowl run, but this place could get rocking if they could get these fans involved in this game, and I hope they do, because I would love to see this team kind of be like the team where you get to go all the way to Hawaii to play. You don't want to go down there because those fans are crazy. They really are.
Yeah. I mean, when Hawaii football is good, they're tough to play at home. This would be a really big win for Timmy Chang and Hawaii if they could pull this thing off. Back-to-back 5-7 seasons to start for Timmy Chang. But done a pretty nice job. Hawaii's a tough place to recruit to. I mean, you think it'd be easy, but it's so far away and it's so hard to get to. It's a tough place to recruit to.
Yeah, I think Marcus Mariota said the best, and it was so easy just to stay home and play college football, but I wanted to see the world and see the rest of the country, and that's why I went to Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about his how important he was to his islands and how important he is to Oregon University. I really like to see Hawaii kind of put a little more stamp on college football again. They don't have to go undefeated. Just a fun 7-win season when they go bowling. It's always fun.
Make it worth staying up till 1 a.m. to see kickoff.
Yeah,
in
when
Hawaii.
they played Vanderbilt 2 years ago and the kickoff was like at 1 a.m. I love that. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. It's 4 o'clock over there. I'm watching college football at 1 o'clock in the morning. You gotta love it. Since Bryce is not here, we wanted to give our little more fun to our. We
gotta pay some bills.
Yeah, we do.
Before we lose some money on best bets.
And why not just stick home where Bryce is at and sit with our friends down there?
Hey everyone,
who's clicking it?
Hey everyone, Bryce Kuhn here with the Crowded Booth, and I'm excited to partner with Milton and Drew McCluskey as they get on their new venture, the Cajun Cousins Company. It's an all-stop shop for some of the best food and atmosphere entertainment that you're going to be able to have, especially this fall as college football is right around the corner. What is Cajun Cousins Company? Well, Milt decided to start this business back in Columbia, South Carolina. That's where they're based out of. Drew initially joined him after spending some time with the Saints, but they offer catered Cajun delicacies such as crawfish boils and Aunt Dottie's jambalaya. They bring everything and they can set up anywhere. Look, folks, they're passionate about giving people a reason to gather and to get to the culture that they love so much. They're expanding that brand to the low country of South Carolina, the upstate area, and other areas of the Southeast. So look, if you're going to throw that tailgate party or you're going to have a big gathering, reach out to Cajun Cousins Company today over at CajunCousinsCO.com to get that quote. Tell them the Crowded Booth sent you. We can't wait to see what they have in store this fall.
Throw it up there, Will.
Is this AI?
No. No. If we had an AI version of Bryce, it would be terrifying. It really would.
The real life version's scary enough.
Yeah, if you haven't been around Bryce in real life, I'm sorry. You really just haven't lived.
None of these folks will probably ever experience the real Bryce.
No, and that's probably a good thing, actually.
It probably is.
That's a Crowded Booth After Dark podcast.
Yeah,
Bryce stories. I have a lot of nightmare ones.
That's the selling point for the don't know nobody pod, because we've done an awful job selling it tonight. This has been
is this number 2 we've done, Will? This is the second podcast we've done live. That's just you and me. Gosh. Well, let's bring everyone home back to what they're really looking forward to this year, and that's our best bets. Yeah. Bring Bryce into this. Let him. Let's go ahead and throw Bryce's best bet up there. He has Hawaii -2.5 on Saturday. No idea why he chose it because he won't tell us why.
He did not give a reason.
No, we're just gonna say this is Bryce's best bet. You can screenshot that, you can save it to him. Because remember 2 years ago when he chose Navy plus 50.5 and they got beat by 50 or whether it was 28.5 and they got beat 58-0. And he wouldn't count that against his loss, but
Yeah, he tried to not count it.
Yeah, we have proof right here. This is Bryce's best bet for this week. Oh man, we can say bye to Bryce real quick. Yeah, thank you.
All right, what? There it goes.
There
okay,
we go.
So here we go. Here's the graphic. I'm going Farmageddon under 50.5. Kind of said earlier, Iowa State, they're going to get back to running the football. They're going to try to control the clock, I think, and try to lean on their defense. I think they lost so much explosiveness on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to have to run it. They're going to have to get back to running it. And they played well against Avery Johnson and Kansas State last year. So I think they can limit the points. I feel like 50 is a lot. I don't know if both teams get to the 20s in this game, but since I'm taking under 50.5, it probably means they're going to score about 45 combined in the first half.
And you know what? They won't score a single one in the second half. just make it all worth the while.
That would be crazy.
I hinted at mine earlier, like Will did, because there's only 4 games really to pick from this week. So I'm taking West Kentucky minus 10.5 at home against Sam Houston. I have more faith in the Hilltoppers than I do Sam Houston, the Bearcats, spelled with a K, by the way.
That's true. They spell it with a K.
It's with a K. I have a dynasty with them. I would know. I've played this game and I got beat by 30, so I'm kind of that's how I'm feeling about it. And yet right there, get the bottom Bryce minus 2.5 for Hawaii against Stanford. So those are our best bets this week.
Best bets. Well, the season's finally here. We're fired up. We finally get to see some football. We don't have to keep just talking about what could happen. Monday, we'll get to talk about what actually did happen for at least a few games.
And then we start to prep for week 1 in a action-packed weekend. And we'll have a live show of Will's reaction to Auburn's games that Friday night. Just him sitting there watching the game.
Maybe. We'll see.
Probably not.
Best name in the community, SEC referee glaucoma awareness. Do we need an inverse Manus fund? If you want your kids to go to college, if you want to retire, if you want to retire your kids, yes, do it. Fade me. Absolutely. Especially after last year's debacle.
Oh my gosh. I'll be playing Boys of Fall on the way to work tomorrow. Hey, Dr. Bob, I appreciate it because I would probably do the same thing tomorrow. I usually play that song when it actually gets colder. I'll be honest with you.
Hey, did you see the future forecast for next weekend, week 1?
No, I have not. Is it supposed to be cooler?
They're talking in the 50s on Saturday morning. It's going to feel like fall.
I'm going to cry.
And we've got football.
Oh, man.
That's coming off that nasty hurricane. I'd rather it not hit land, but, some cooler temperatures would be nice.
Will, do you want to answer this question?
Doubtful.
Well, are you sure you don't want to claim the best beats title?
Oh, best beats?
Yeah.
No, I'd rather not. That'd make me even more mad. I'd rather get blown out.
Oh me. But thank y'all for joining us tonight. Thank you for sticking around. Because I know this is probably a disaster in the making. We tried. We set it up. I really wanted a picture of Bryce kind of sit there in the middle between Will and I, and it didn't work the way I wanted to. We'll try that again next time when Bryce decides just to randomly jump off the show, But thank you for staying with us. Follow the channel, like and subscribe always. You can find me, Will, Bryce, all our social medias, usually on the Twitter, on the page. They're always retweeting stuff, sharing stuff.
It used to be up here, and StreamYard did an update. All our banners look different.
Yeah, I was not prepared for this banner stuff to be changed either. So that was another.
We were barely prepared at all.
Yeah, I know. Nothing surprises. Nothing surprises you anymore here. I'm probably gonna mess this ending up anyway.
If you had any doubt who the professional was, you learned tonight who the pro was.
Yeah, usually when Bryce is here, he can run the show, and I can sit back here and change everything. while we're doing it, and Gavin's here. Gavin's here, but he's sick apparently. So we're he's just making that up so he doesn't be on the show tonight. So, but thank y'all for watching. We will be back Monday night for the week 0 recap, and week 1. Well, we won't talk about week 1, I guess, will we?
Week 0.
Yeah, we'll talk about week 0 recap and probably get
Bryce. Bryce will be here Sunday, right?
Yeah, Swarm Talk
Swarm
preview
Talk on
for
Sunday.
Georgia Tech, I think. So, but yes, this is me. I'm Ralph. This is Will, and this has been the Crowded Booth.
Pile in here and make yourself feel at home. The Crowded Booth is coming on.